Hello, I welcome you to chapter number 12, which is the last chapter of our first cycle that we have finished. So let's now understand that there are certain words that Indians may not be able to pronounce correctly because maybe right from the beginning we've been told about that this is how it has to be pronounced, but that is a little incorrect. So what we have done here is we've gathered all those commonly mispronounced words, and I want that right from your primary classes you understand that how these words must be pronounced, so that when you grow up you become a better speaker of English. You know the right pronunciation of each and every word that could be mispronounced. So let's now start the first word and its pronunciation. We will first start with the letter A, then we'll go to the letter B, C, and we'll cover all the letters, all the words from the letters A to Z. So let's start with the first letter that we have, which is the letter A. And when you have the words, you can see in your workbooks that what all letters do we have. The first one, as we can see here, is academics. So the word is generally mispronounced as academics, but you should know what the right pronunciation is. We call the word which is academics. Academics. She is amazing at her academics, which means she studies really well. So that's called academics. In the school, the sports and academics are handled very well by the students. So that's called academics. The next word we have is academy. So how do you say the word? We call it academy. The third word that we have here is address. Now let me help you to understand what are heteronyms. So what I'm going to talk about is heteronyms. I may be wrong if I say that you already know them. So it may be something that you might have heard for the first time, but don't worry, I'm here to help you to understand this. That's called heteronyms. And what are heteronyms? We do have words in English which would have the same spellings. For example, ADDRESS. What does this word mean? We all know, and you will say that yes, this word means the address of my home address. So that's one word. And what about the other address that we have, which would have the same spelling, ADDRESS, but that means when I stand here, I address you. That means to represent, right? To present. So that is another word. We have the same spelling, but the pronunciation is not the same. So the words in English which would have the same spellings, but we have different pronunciation and different meaning, those words in English are called heteronyms. So one is your address where you live. How do you pronounce that? So we call it address. How do you say that? Let's repeat, address. So you do not actually pronounce the E, R-E-S-S, the E is not there. So you call it address. What is your address? So I'll say my address is this. So this is how we say the word address. The next one that we have is address. So I'm standing here right now and I'm addressing all my students. Address is how you pronounce it. So you call it address. Here the R-E-S-S is to be pronounced, but the letter A does not have its sound. We call it address. I hope this combination that we've used here of two words, same spellings, different meanings, different pronunciation is clear. Along with this, we've got the next word, which is adjustable. So whenever you pronounce it, remember the D is missing. Just eliminate the D and call it adjustable. Another thing, after here there is an A, you do not have to pronounce it, because any word in English which ends with ABLE, and ABLE is a suffix, we never pronounce it. We call it able. So it's going to be adjustable. Adjustable. Let's pronounce it adjustable. Adjustable. Next one, adult. So we call it adult. In India, an adult is one who's 18 years of age. So we call it adult. Next one is agency. We do not call it agency, if you may say that. So the right pronunciation is going to be agency. The next word is agree. We don't say agree, we call it agree. I agree to this statement. I agree with her viewpoints. So you're always going to call the word as agree. The next one is air. We do not call it air, it's called air. There's a lot of air in the room. It is important to have a lot of air. Make sure that your room is ventilated. So you call it air. The next one is allergy. He is allergic to peanuts. There is an allergy because of which he fell sick. So allergy is how you pronounce it. The next word and the last one is alternative. How do you say that? We call the word alternative. Now first of all, I want you to listen these words again from your web app. Once you have done it, you will have to record the same words in your own voice and make sure that you pronounce them absolutely correct. So this is how we have finished this chapter number 12.